Hi, today we're going to discuss an important aspect of ancient Indian history in your history syllabus, and we are going to focus on the post-Mauryan dynasties, post-Mauryan kingdoms and their contributions. Now, post-Mauryan period essentially goes from 185 BC up until 250 AD. Now, this is actually a period, if you observe in terms of chronology, after the Mauryans going all the way from 321 BC to 185 BC and focusing on the Guptas. Guptas go all the way from 250 AD to 580 AD. Chronologies becomes very important in your MCQs. Rather than just remembering the dates, you need to emphasize and focus on the details, the chronology, not the years, but who came first, who came later, and what was happening. Similarly, post-Maurya's contemporary, if we had any, who were the contemporaries? In the south, Shatavahanas, in the east, Kalinga Chedis, in the further down south, the Sangam, post-Sangam Kalabras. Just for the sake of information you need to keep, because in prelims type of questions, these are the questions where they try to get information or get the questions from. We will approach this part also through previous year questions and multiple choice questions. We will see a question, see the answer, discuss the answer, and discuss any other information which is needed for you to understand this particular topic. Let us see the first question for the day. Arrange the following in chronological order. Obviously, the chronological order of formation. Shatavahanas, Vakatakas, Chalukyas. Select the correct code from the following. This was a pattern of prelims questions which used to come. A, C, B, C, A, B, A, B, C, more than one of the above. Of the recent, this previously we used to have option called none of the above. Nowadays, this question has also come more than one of the above. So, it depends on how you see the question. The answer would be A, B, C, which is Shatavahana, Vakataka and Chalukya. Shatavahanas immediately emerged around 321 BC, right after the death of Ashoka. Ashoka died in 232 BC. Shatavahanas actually comes right after Ashoka's death in 232 BC. Whereas Chalukyas, you do not see them coming up, really coming into the mainstream picture as the sources of history up until 500 AD. Vakatakas were in between because they were the Samanta Rajas or the feudal lords of Guptas. When you are reading a prelims question, particularly in ancient India, please read the question more than once or more than twice. Understand what is being asked and then answer. Don't ever jump for an answer. Shatavahanas were the first. They were established in the late 2nd century BC. The founder was 𝗧𝗏. One of the stories or one of the origins mentioned about Shatavahanas is 𝗧𝗏 probably was a feudal under Ashoka, and once Ashoka died, with the help of Ratikas and Bhojakas, he tried to get independent. 𝗧𝗏 laid the foundation of his empire by destroying the Kanvas completely. Kanvas were the successors of Shungas, who were the successors of Mauryas in Pataliputra. Mauryas were succeeded by Shungas, who were succeeded by Kanvas. And all the while, parallelly, Shatavahanas existed. They were competing with these two, and Kanva was completely eliminated. Matsya Purana, very important book written during the Gupta period, gives a list of 30 Shatavahana kings who ruled Deccan region through their geographical extent kept changing every now and then. Remember that Shatavahanas were not specifically restricted to only one place. Maharashtra, northern Karnataka, Telangana, up until Andhra, Srikakulam. We see the extent of these guys going on. The last known Shatavahana king is Vijaya Shatavahana. The Shatavahana kingdom was probably established really came to power in approximately 1st century AD, also known as Shatakarnis or Andhras or Andhrikas. Even Greek books of that period call them Andhrikas. Some of the major Shatavahana centers were Nagarjunakonda and Amaravati. Srimukha was obviously the founder. He conquered Malwa, Vidarbha and Anupa. He also defeated Shungas. He was assassinated by Krishna Shatakarni, a descendant of a member of his own family. Srimukha ended also the Kanva power in Bengal. Kanha Shatakarni or Krishna Shatakarni expanded Shatavahanas further south towards Kaveri river. Some of the most important Shatavahanas, we have 30 odd Shatavahana kings to be mentioned, 30, but some of the most important only we are going to see. Shatakarni I, he was son of Srimukha, also commonly called Sri Shatakarni, and he was generally known as the Lord of 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃. Okay, mentioned in Nanaghat inscription given by his wife Naganika. Shatakarni II also had the longest ruling Shatavahana period. He defeated Kalingas and brought Odisha back into the control of Indian kings. But the most popular Shatavahana is the 𝗓𝗏𝗎𝑚𝑖putra Shatakarni, who defeated Shaka, Yavana, Pahalava. That's why he is also called 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, destroyer of all Kshatriyas. 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃. He was the first king to start the practice of matronym, which is every Shatavahana king from 𝗓𝗏𝗎putra and after used to take his mother's name as the first name. Like 𝗓𝗏𝗎putra's mother name is Gautami Balashri, so he is called 𝗓𝗏𝗎putra. 𝗓𝗏𝗎putra Shatakarni's wife Vashishti Devi. So 𝗓𝗏𝗎putra's son called himself Vashishtaputra Pulamavi, son of Vashishti Devi. Nashik inscription was also given by his mother Gautami Balashri. Pulamavi too, commonly as I said, is also called Vashishtaputra Pulamavi. He eventually married a Shaka king's daughter, Rudradama Shaka of Gujarat, who gave the famous Junagadh inscription, was associated with Junagadh inscription. Pulamavi expanded the Shatavahana kingdom till Bellary in Karnataka, he tried defeating Rudradaman, but himself was defeated by Rudradaman. Last popular, powerful Shatavahana was Pulamavi IV. After this, Shatavahanas could not really sustain for a very long period. Their administration is very important for us in our syllabus because it is clearly mentioned we need to know about Shatavahanas and Guptas. Shatavahana region or Shatavahana state was divided into Janapadas, Aharas and Gramas. Janapada being the province, Grama being the village, Ahara being the sub-province. Aharas were headed by the bureaucrats called Amatyas. Gramas were headed by village heads known as Gramika. Shatavahana period also had a lot of rural areas which were headed by Gaulmika. These Gaulmikas were also military regiment heads. There were feudalism, which was fully promoted and encouraged by Shatavahanas during their rule. And there were 3 grades of feudatories which were popular in Shatavahana period: Rajas, Mahabhojas and Senapati. Among these, Rajas were the feudal lords of the highest order, the landlords of the highest order. They had the power to even mint coins for themselves. They could even have minting of the coins done. Mahabhoja were medium feudatories and Senapatis were naturally provincial governors. These were third category feudal lords, highest category feudal lords. Now the second question. Consider the following statements regarding Indo-Greek rulers. Kushana rulers worshipped both Shiva and Buddha. Rudradaman I was the most famous Parthian ruler. Menander was an Indo-Greek king who was converted to Jainism by Nagasena. Which of the following statements is or are incorrect? The question is clearly asking you incorrect. Always, I emphasize multiple times, when you're reading MCQs, do focus on the correct, incorrect requirements. 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 2 and 3 only, more than one of the above. The answer should be 2 and 3 only, because Rudradaman was a Shaka ruler, Scythian ruler. Menander was obviously an Indo-Greek king, correct, but converted to Buddhism, not Jainism, Buddhism by Nagasena. This is actually mentioned in a book called Milinda Pano. Milinda Pano is a dialectical discussion book, dialogue-based book. Indo-Greek kings, Indo-Greek period, we'll see some of the Indo-Greek kings. Now, Indo-Greek kings were also commonly called Yavanas, Bactrians. They were the first kings to carry king's portrait on their coins. They were also the first to issue gold coins. Okay. Antiochus II was the governor of Bactria originally, defeated by Shubhangasena of Kabul. Demetrius I eventually led these Bactrians into India, expanded into India, built the city of Sialkot. Those days it was called Sakala. Sometimes these prelims questions also come about the old names of the different cities of today. Like for example, Allahabad, previously known as Prayagraj, Sakala, today known as Sialkot. The coins in Greeks and Prakrit were also given by Demetrius I, but obviously, as I said, the most popular Indo-Greek king was Menander. Now, Menander ruled Gandhara and Sakala. He had control over the regions of Afghanistan, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat. He eventually converted to Buddhism under Nagasena, a Buddhist monk, and he issued coins with symbols of Dharmachakra, silver and gold coins extensively were issued by him. Bactrians are the name which is actually mentioned about these guys in the books. They ruled northwest India. These were Greeks who had started to move towards India and eventually came to be known as Indo-Greek because they had mixed blood. Many of these Greeks married locals of this country and became half Greek, half Indian. So they are called Indo-Greeks. They are the first to invade India, first to issue gold coins. In total, we had 42 Greek kings. Thankfully, we know only about 34 of them. Most information about these guys is missing. Melinda or Menander, probably we think he ruled from 165 BC to 145 BC, and he was the first to extend the kingdom towards India. Next question. Which of the following statements is incorrect about the Shaka dynasty? Rudradaman I was the first king of the Shaka dynasty. Bactrian Greeks in the northwest India were supplanted by the Shakas. The Shakas were displaced from their original home in Central Asia by the 𝗓𝗍𝗍. More than one of the above. Since the question is asking incorrect, answer would be option 1. Rudradaman I was not the first Shaka. Chastana was the founder of the Shaka Kshatrapa dynasties in the northwest. Rudradaman came much later in the Shaka empire. Chastana was one of the founders, the main founders of the Shaka Kshatrapa. Also, the other dynasty was called Kshatratas and included Nahapana, who was very famous king, defeated by Shatavahana ruler 𝗂𝗏𝗎putra Shatakarni. The Shaka era is believed to have started after the coming to power of Nahapana. The Shaka calendar which start from 78 AD. Shakas were actually coming to India after they came during Indo-Greek period, but eventually after coming they destroyed the Indo-Greek rule in northwest. They were nomadics of Central Asia. and largely they were horse riders, or you can say pastoralists. There were 5 branches of Shakas. They came in 5 waves: Afghanistan, Punjab, Mathura, West India and Gujarat. 5 groups. Among these, most popular Shaka is Rudradama Shaka, who ruled from 130 AD to 150 AD approximately. This is written as 2nd century AD. When asked in a previous year question, he repaired the Sudarshana Lake, gave the longest Sanskrit inscription, the Junagadh inscription. Gujarat, Sindh, Saurashtra, Malwa, Rajasthan were under his control. He issued coins with Indian deities or Indian gods and goddesses on the coins. Also gave Greek and Kharosthi script inscriptions. The other Shakas are Maus, 𝗓𝗏1, 𝗓𝗏2. Last known Shaka is to have been defeated by Kushana, another tribe from Central Asia, Xinjiang province, also called the 𝗬𝗎s. Rudraraman is considered the greatest of the Shaka kings. He was from the Western Kshatrapa dynasty, successor of Chastana. He was the grandson of Chastana. His kingdom included, as I said, Konkan, Narmada, Kathiawad, parts of Gujarat and Malwa. He concluded the repairs on the Sudarshana Lake at Kathiawad region. He supported Sanskrit literature, gave the longest Sanskrit inscription in India, the Junagadh inscription. It was during his period that 𝗕𝗏𝗏, the Greek writer, lived in India and translated 𝗕vana-jataka from Greek to Sanskrit. So this is very important information for prelims. 𝗕vana-eshvara, a Greek writer who wrote 𝗕vana-jataka, which is basically a translated book from Greek to Sanskrit, done during Rudradaman's period. The next question: who were the first kings to issue the largest hoards of gold coins in India? Mauryas, Indo-Greeks, Guptas and Kushanas. The answer is Kushanas. First to issue gold coins, Greeks. Largest to issue is Kushanas. Kushanas were essentially a nomadic community coming all the way from Central Asia. They belong to 𝗬𝗎 tribe. They are also called Tocharians because Kushanas speak Tochara language. There were 2 tribes, 2 communities of 𝗬𝗎s, the little 𝗬𝗎, which mainly we see in Tibet, the great 𝗬𝗎s, who eventually came to India and settled in India. They settled here after completely defeating Shakas, and initially they were an pastoralist agricultural community in India. The founder of the Kushana dynasty in India is Kujula-Kadphises, also called 𝗓𝗏𝗔𝗃 or 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗔𝗃. He embraced Buddhism. He was a Buddhist. Had in his control Kabul and Kashmir. His son was 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, son of Kujula. And eventually we see another king mentioned called 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, son of 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, who gave gold and silver coins because 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's period, Kushanas had control over Peshawar, and Peshawar falls exactly in the center of the Silk Route, the trading route from Beijing to Istanbul. He was a Shaivite. 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 was a Shaivite, follower of Shaivism, and he controlled Silk Route, and that's why he was very, very rich. So rich was 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's kingdom that they used to use gold coins as daily currency. That is why these guys introduced highest number of gold coins, because for them gold coins were being used as daily currency for daily purchase and sale. 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's son is Kanishka, the greatest Kushana. His contribution is mainly into art, architecture and sculptures. He ruled from Purushapura, present day Peshawar. Founded the Shaka era of 78 AD, which is the government calendar today. Patronized Buddhism. Last well popular known Shaka is Vashishka, also known as Kaiser I, the last powerful. After him, Kushanas existed, but they were no longer that capital or that powerful. They were not that strong. Some of the important Kushana scholars who were in the court of Kanishka were Ashwaghosha, very important for your prelims, It does come in match the followings. Ashwaghosha, who was a Buddhist scholar who wrote Buddha Charitam and Saundaranandam. Charaka, father of Ayurveda, who wrote Charaka Samhita. Eventually Charaka became closed, was in around the same period as Sushruta. Vasumitra, another philosopher who wrote 𝗪𝗏𝗪. Nagarjuna, who was known for the book Prajna Paramita Sutra and follower of Madhyamika Buddhism. This question was asked previously in prelims. Mathara, a minister of Kanishka, very important guy, and Agesilaus was a Greek engineer who built the Purushapura Stupa, the famous Peshawar Stupa. Next question, fifth question. Gandhara art was the most significant feature of Kushana period, Shaka period, Shatavahana period, Shungas. The answer is straightforward. Gandhara art was mainly popular in the Kushana era. The growth and origins of Gandhara was the most significant contribution of Kushanas, particularly Kanishka. It focused on the theory of Madhyamika Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism, where idols of Buddha were highly encouraged. Hence, the option is A. Option A is correct. Now, we see in Gandhara school, we see the starting of Greek influence, basically a mix of Roman and Indian styles. It was a product of Hellenistic, which is Roman style, West Asiatic, which is sort of the Middle Age, West Asia, and also a combination of Indian elements. Taxila in Swat Valley was literally the capital of the Gandhara school of art. And the main material in Gandhara school is grey sandstone or blush grey sandstone. Later period, they also use stucco. Greco-Roman Pantheon style images, which is here Buddha looks almost like a Greek god. Greek Pantheon gods like Zeus or like Apollo. Largely resembling Apollo. Very rich turban. A string of amulets. Amulets are little locket type of things across the body like bracelets and neck. And strapped sandals on the feet. This is also something specifically Greek-Roman. Strapped sandals were not really a practice in India. And if you see Buddha in Gandhara school also tends to stand on a like a pedestal of Corinthian pillars. Corinthian pillars are pillars very similar to the one you observe in the Parliament of India today. So we have series of pillars circular, and on the top Buddha is standing. Very athletic figure. Here Buddha almost looks like a warrior with heavy thick drapery like a shawl, very thick shawl, and strapped sandals. Clearly Greek Roman influence in Gandhara school. Gandhara school developed in two stages, guys, between 50 AD to 500 AD. Here Buddha also is largely calm, does not have any heavy facial expressions. Buddha will have facial hair and sometimes does have less ornamentation. When it's Roman influence, you have heavy ornamentation. When it's Greek influence, less ornamentation. Wavy or ringed hair, as you see in Buddha's idols. Large forehead, and Buddha is generally seated. Large ears, half closed eyes, and a protuberance. Protuberance is like a hair bun, a nut, a bun. Early stages, blush sandstone. Later stages, mud and stucco with lime plaster. That's why very fine, soft finish of Buddha's idols we observe in Gandhara school. Okay, now, which of the following dynasties is generally referred to as Scythians? Kushanas, Shakas, Shatavahanas, or Shungas? Answer is straightforward. I've told this multiple times. These are Shakas. Shakas were the ones who were generally referred to as Scythians. And later period, once they merged with Parthians, they came to be known as Shaka Pahlavas. They came to India through Bolan Pass, first settled in the lower Indus region, and they came in 5 waves: Afghanistan, Punjab, Northwest, Gujarat, and Central. Okay, so there were different Shaka kings. We have previously seen who are the Shaka kings in detail. Now, next question, consider the following. Use of symbolism in images. Large halo around the head. Halo is basically like a plate that comes in the back of Buddha. Use of mud and stucco are the main features of, which of the above are the features of Mathura school of sculpture? So, it is asking specifically Mathura school. Options 1 only, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. The answer is 1 and 2. Because stucco is essentially, mud and stucco is a Gandhara style, no? I just said some time ago, it is Gandhara or Indo-Greek in terms of patterns. Mathura school of sculptures have mainly you see in Mathura region on the banks of Yamuna. This was also encouraged by Kanishka. And Mathura school is mainly indigenous. That is, purely has Indian influences. All the three, Buddhism, Hinduism and Jainism will be observed, unlike Gandhara, where we only see Buddhist. Gandhara, only Buddhist. Mathura, all the three. Images were modeled on the earlier Yaksha, Yakshini images, which were popular in sculptural schools of that period. Now, if you see the questions, Mathura school showed a striking symbolism of images. For example, Shiva is seen through Linga and Mukhalinga. That's why statement 1 was correct in that question. And similarly, halo or the plate on the backside of head of Buddha is much larger than in Gandhara. Remember, in Gandhara also you have that plate type of thing on the back. But that one is actually plain in Gandhara. In Mathura, it has geometrical patterns like this. A sort of geometrical pattern will be there. Hence, statement 2 is correct. And sculptures of Mathura are actually made with spotted red sandstone. And since stucco and mud belong to Gandhara school, hence statement 3 is not correct. Remember, even Mathura was patronized by Kanishka Kushana. Mathura school, completely indigenous, spotted red sandstone. We see all the three religion. Mainly Mathura school is observed in Sonk, Mathura and Kankalitala regions. Important features, you see very expressive, delighted Buddha. Often you see smiling, expressive Buddha. Head and face is neatly shaped, so no facial hair, unlike Gandhara. Body is very muscular, again, unlike Gandhara. In Gandhara, Buddha is heavily dressed. In Mathura, he is lightly dressed, very energetic body and graceful, attractive face. There is a protuberance on the head here also, like a bun, the bun which is on the top. And halo around the head with geometrical motifs is also present. We see a lot of images of other religions as well, like Vaishnava images, Linga, Jain sculptures of Mahavira, etc. in Mathura. Next question. Lord Buddha's statue in Rajagriha is in the middle of dash lake. Muchalinda, Ghorakatora, Vaitarani Sarovar and Powerhouse. Now this is basically a question coming directly from recent current affairs. It was actually Ghorakatora. Bihar CM Nitish Kumar unveiled a 70 feet tall statue of Lord Buddha at Rajagriha in Nalanda district on December 25th, 2018. Last year, it was actually news about how this, there were some repairs which was needed for this Ghorakatora Buddhist statue. The statue has been installed over a 16-meter radius pedestal in the middle of Lake Ghorakatora, and it has been completely made of cubic foot pink stone. Cubic foot pink stone. Again, this one also is synonymous with Mahayana Buddhism. Remember always, Mahayana Buddhism encourages pictographic images of Buddha, whereas Hinayana discourages any such practice. Ghorakatora is the natural lake surrounded by 5 hills. In fact, one uniqueness is, recently also it's been updated, no petrol and diesel vehicles are allowed to travel in the Ghorakatora region. The last question, Vengi School of Art is better known as Gandhara School of Art, Mathura School of Art, Amaravati School of Art and Aihole School of Art. Now, based on this question itself, if you understand, Vengi region is basically in our Andhra section. So, answer must be Amaravati School of Art. Vengi region is in Andhra Pradesh, mainly Jaggayapeta, Amaravati, Nagarjunakonda, Bhattiprolu and Goli region. Amaravati school developed in the same period as Gandhara and Mathura, but this was fully encouraged by Shatavahanas and Ikshvakus. Ikshvakus were the successors of Shatavahanas in Andhra region. Amaravati school, fully indigenous in nature, same. Here, also covered with relief, sculptural stupa slabs. In fact, you do not have Buddha's images, but rather marble sculptures of Buddha in Amaravati. Events from Buddha's life, Jataka tales are depicted here. Sculptures have very intense emotions. Overall, these are narrative sculptures. This question has been also asked in UPSC as well as previous the state services. The figures are slender and show very lot of bodily movements. And Buddha also is standing in Tribhanga posture. Consider the following statements about manuscripts and inscriptions. Manuscripts were written on relatively hard surfaces as stone or metal. Inscriptions were written on palm leaf or on birch. Which of the following statements is or are correct? In fact, in the post-Mauryan period, manuscripts and inscriptions, the number of inscription manuscripts increased substantially. That's why I've asked this question here. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Option is 4, neither 1 nor 2, because manuscripts are written by hand. They are written on palm leaf, especially bark of a tree. So the statement is not correct, and most manuscripts are preserved in temples and monasteries. If you see options, the options must be interchanged. Manuscripts are on palm leaves, inscriptions are on hard surfaces like stone or metal. Most of the manuscripts deal with religious belief books, life of kings, medicine and science, epics, poems and plays. Finally, inscriptions are always written on hard surfaces, even on stone, metal like pillars, as we see in Ashoka's period as well. And mostly, since these are written on hard surfaces, these are generally central subjects or state-controlled information. So we see king's orders, king's victories in battles mentioned in the manuscripts. So that's a series of questions about post-Mauryan Empire and post-Mauryan Kingdom, guys. That's it in this session. Let us meet in the next session and we'll see Guptas. Thank you. Bye-bye.